Out of all the waves so far, Wave 4 has intrigued me the most. I mean, granted, I'm releasing this 3 weeks after the wave came out, but, it just, something about it just is different to me. Could it be the fact that it's the first DLC wave to be on the bottom of the DLC screen? Yeah, probably. Could it be the fact that most of the courses are up to snub with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Yeah, I would say so. And I would actually go as far to say that it's the best wave that we've gotten so far. So today we're going to take a look at all the courses that came with Wave 4 to truly see if it is the best wave we've gotten in the booster course so far.
Look, I'm gonna be frank. Out of the 3 tour courses that we've gotten from this wave, Amsterdam Drift is by far the weakest, which isn't the worst thing in the world considering the fact that Bangkok Rush and Singapore Speedway are 2 of what I think are the best tour courses we've gotten so far. More on that later. But starting the race, everything looks good, everything looks up to snub, and holy shit, what the fuck is this? Yeah. This opening section and the flower one towards the end, they just look unfinished. I don't know if it's because of the lighting or a bland skybox or really due to a lack of a decent grass texture. I mean, it was really trying hard to be a part of Wave 1, if you know what I mean. But these are only 2 short sections of a much larger and a much more decent course. Besides that hiccup that we seem to come back to towards the end, this course is decent to look at. Not Mario Kart 8 standards or even the rest of Wave 4 standards, but definitely an HD Mario Kart for sure. What makes this course unique and stand out to me is that much of this course actually takes place underwater. It's one of the few courses to actually have a good amount of its track underwater, which isn't really used as often. Sure, a lot of courses in the game have underwater sections, but they're usually optional if anything. And with the amount of water traversal, it reminds me a lot of the tracks seen in Mario Kart 7.
To me, the visuals are what really hold this course back from being as good as it can. It's unfortunate for Amsterdam Drift, but fortunately it's the only course in Wave 4 with this issue.
Oh my god, what is that?! Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart Super Circuit both share a similarity in visuals, but when it comes to course design, it's night and day. I mean, it's the 3rd game in the series. It should have more complex course design, and fun fact is the only mainline title that I've never played or touched. When it comes to Super, there isn't that much interpretation needed when bringing back old tracks. It is what you get. Oh wow, it's in 3D, but Super Circuit is a bit different, and Nintendo knows that. Case in point, Ribbon Road, which many consider to be one of the series' greatest tracks, which no one would have ever guessed by looking at this. I for one love the GBA remix because Super Circuit had some really creative track designs, with Sky Garden being one of my favorite courses to come out of Wave 1, and one of my favorites from this wave is Riverside Park, another GBA course. It's not crazy complex, but it's a really enjoyable course to play on. I just love the idea of traversing through this kind of environment, going around and up this mountain, only to end it off by exiting through a waterfall with such joy. It takes its base concept and just executes it really well, not to mention that it has visuals on par with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe itself. So if you aren't already aware, the 2000s were like the golden era for Mario Kart. Some of the best courses and games in the entirety of the series released during this decade. In fact, when it comes to the mainline series, the 2000s had the most games released. Obviously, when many of us think of the 2000s Mario Kart games, DS and Wii immediately come to mind, arguably 2 of the best games in the series to date. There's a bunch of reasons for this, but one of the ones that stands out was the track design. Both of these games boasted some of the best tracks the series has ever seen, and that's true even to this day. Now, when I heard that they were remastering DK Summit for Wave 4, I will admit, I was kind of a little nervous. There are still times with the booster course where the visuals can still be lacking, but also because Mount Wario exists in the base game. And when you're telling me you're remastering a course with the description of race down a snowy mountain, I'm probably going to tell you that that's already in the game. But here we are, and honestly, it's DK Summit, of course it was going to be good. I mean, this map barely changed at all since we saw it on Wii, and it really didn't need to. And when playing both Mount Wario and this side by side, the 2 are completely different courses, yet sharing a similar theme. DK Summit is a great stage, but I will admit, it does feel a little familiar.
Nintendo! Remaster DK Mountain! The Mario franchise has been responsible for creating some of Nintendo's most well-known series. There are the no-duh series like Mario Party, Mario Kart, and all the Mario sports titles, but there's also series like Yoshi, Luigi's Mansion, and WarioWare that all originated from Super Mario.
You know, it's weird to me still that Yoshi's Island has never received its own dedicated Mario Kart track. I mean, sure, we've gotten a bunch of Yoshi dedicated courses in the past, but never one based on the actual Yoshi games. I mean, Luigi's Mansion has a course, Donkey Kong Country has a course, even Zelda and Animal Crossing and F-Zero have their own dedicated stages. And for this being the first truly new Mario Kart course in the last few years, it truly is a masterpiece. This is such a perfect translation of the 1995 Super Nintendo Classic, with the stage being so ambitious. You go everywhere in this course, the plains, the woods, castles, the volcano, the sky. It's such an amazing adventure, and it's all packed into a single lap. Like a few other tracks in this wave, I was kinda nervous at first when I first saw this, mainly because it wasn't super clear as to whether this would function like a standard Mario Kart track with 3 of the same lap, or the way tour courses have been functioning with different laps. Thankfully though, all of this has been packed into the standard Mario Kart formula. This is such a fun and uplifting course with so many details and references to Yoshi's Island. I know we've had our Yoshi-based courses in the past, but none are quite like this. Here you are in the world of Yoshi's Island. The best comparison I can make here is to the Donkey Kong Country Return stage in Mario Kart 7 because it feels like you're really in a modern remake of Yoshi's Island. Just the sheer amount of things in this course is what I think makes it so great. Look, Amsterdam Drift was definitely a swing and a miss for Wave 4, but that doesn't mean that they're out for good, because the other 2 tour courses this wave more than makes up for it. Bangkok Rush, not one I would have thought would have been a highlight for me, but hey, I'm open to surprises. This is just a really solid and enjoyable course. It's unique, fun, and definitely stands out, which I feel a lot of tour courses have struggled to do throughout the booster course. For me, what makes this course is the semi-water section towards the beginning, which I still think is just really cool and fun, and of course the amazing 10th section towards the end. Like I said earlier, Mario Kart Wii and DS are by far 2 of the best entries in the series and are 2 games I'm sure many of us grew up on. Now I'm sure we're all familiar with courses like Coconut Mall, Waluigi Pinball, Maple Treeway, Peach Gardens, and Cheep Cheep Beach, but one of my personal favorite tracks of all time is one that I think sometimes gets overlooked by mainstream Mario Kart fans, and I am of course talking about the one and only Airship Fortress.
Sir, they didn't remaster Airship Fortress.
What course did they remaster instead?
Mario Circuit for the DS.
Mario Circuit?
Mario Circuit.
Oh. Nintendo. What the fuck?
Every Mario Kart game has a Mario Circuit, and they're all basic as hell. And out of all the DS tracks you could have chosen from, you chose Mario Circuit. Not Figure 8, never mind. Airship Fortress, Delfino Square, you know, the 2 most requested DS tracks. Even still, you have Luigi's Mansion, Desert Hills, DK Pass, Yoshi Falls. But no, Mario Circuit makes the cut. And to top it off, the prefix leak indicates that it's very likely that this is going to be our last DS stage for the booster course. Yeah, Mario Kart Circuit, the last DS course for the booster course, really says I love DS so much.
Look, in a world full of positivity and love, I guess I'm kind of obligated to conform to that, so if I'm going to say anything nice, it's that I kind of like the wood section in the middle of the course. Moving on.
You know, it's kind of crazy to think that this is the first time we're getting a GameCube track in the booster course, and it's Wave 4. I mean, it's not like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is lacking in GameCube tracks, but out of all the tracks Double Dash has, we really only have the basic forgettable ones. I mean, yeah, Baby Park and Yoshi Circuit are here, and they're somewhat memorable tracks, but not really the cream of the crop when it comes to Double Dash. Baby Park is a fucking oval, for God's sake. When I think of Double Dash tracks, I think of DK Mountain, Dino Dino Jungle, Daisy Cruiser, and of course, Waluigi Stadium. Now, I know it was somewhat of a controversy among hardcore Double Dash fans when this course was rumored to be returning because a lot of people prefer the original to the Wii version, with the main gripe of that being the implementation of the Wii's half pipes. I for one have always loved the half pipes from Wii. They're just so much fun to do tricks off of, and when Wave 3's Maple Treeway and Merry Mountain brought them back, I was over the moon. I don't think they're necessarily bad in Waluigi Stadium, it's just really the section with the fake piranha plants that I think pisses a lot of people off. If they weren't in that small section, I think everyone would agree that they're alright to be in the course. And having replayed this track a bit, I do kind of agree with the Double Dash fans on this one. The course itself is better than I remember it. I mean, I played this course a lot back in the day, and I remember always enjoying it, but for some reason, I just really like it more now. Not to mention that this is another course on par with 8 Deluxe when it comes to visuals. Kinda makes me wish we had gotten N64 Wario Stadium instead of Choco Mountain, but overall this is another fantastic course. Although these random ramps that are added, just why are they here? I mean, it's cool, but they're also just kinda useless at the same time.
I still can't believe the fact that this is the first GameCube track we're getting in the entirety of the booster course. Thankfully though, it seems like we're getting quite a bit more on Waves 5 and 6, and one of them better be DK Mountain.
I'll be honest, the tour tracks were something to look forward to when the booster course was first coming out, but by the time we made it to Wave 2, people were starting to get tired of them, including myself. I mean, for the most part, they all feel very samey, like you play one, you kinda played them all. You play one, you kinda get the gist of the rest of them. However, Wave 4 has truly had the best selection of tour courses out of any wave so far, and out of all the tracks in Wave 4, Singapore Speedway is up there as one of my favorites from this wave, hell, one of my favorites in the entire series. This course just screams pure fun and joy. I know it's based on a real location, but they really made this one of the most unique and enjoyable Mario Kart experiences in the entire booster course, hell, the entire series. It doesn't really follow the DNA of any of the other tour tracks, it's purely its own thing. The vibrant colors and atmosphere give me the feeling of Vegas for some reason, and for some reason it makes me feel like they turned Waluigi Pinball into a tour stage, if you kinda get what I'm saying there. This course is an experience, a straight up bright and colorful adventure across Singapore. This map takes you all over the place, with my favorite section being at the beginning with the trip up to the Marina Bay Sands building. Look, all the tour courses try to implement some sort of iconic landmark from wherever they're basing it off of, but none do it quite like this course. This course is an absolute playground, and I mean it when I say it that this could be one of my favorite Mario Kart tracks ever. So that was Wave 4, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course. Would I say it's the best wave so far? I would lean to say yeah. Wave 3 was significantly better than the first two and was my favorite wave when it came out. And Wave 4 seems to take the best aspects of Wave 3 and pretty much make it the whole goal of Wave 4. None of the tracks here are bad, and compared to the other waves, there really isn't a super popular course lifting the whole wave up. Sure, DK Summit and Waluigi Stadium have their fans, but they're not as popular as Coconut Mall, Maple Treeway, and Waluigi Pinball.
What I think elevates Wave 4 above all the other waves is that it's not reliant on a best track ever conceived in the Mario Kart series as its main gimmick or selling point. It's focused on giving you a pure, fun, and enjoyable Mario Kart experience. That's what it is. And that almost all the tracks are up to snub with what Mario Kart 8 provides in the visual department. Like I said, none of these are bad track choices by any means, except for DS Mario Circuit. That was stupid. But none of them would immediately come to the top of your mind when someone says, name me a Mario Kart track, or name me your favorite Mario Kart track, or what Mario Kart track do you want to play? None of these really come to the top of your mind. They may, 5 minutes later, but not immediately. The wave just really captures the essence of what makes Mario Kart Mario Kart. And although there were 2 small hiccups along the way, this is still the beginning of Mario Kart content for the year of 2023. And if this is Wave 4 at the beginning of 2023, then I think it's safe to say that we're going to have a fantastic and completely mind-blowing Waves 5 and 6.
Sir, he's been a second bullet bill.
Thank you. Alright, you can stop recording.